Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crypto News Weekly Roundup. Your host here, Zahab and Rachel Wolfson. Rachel, last week you and I said, you know what? We had a little tingle. We thought some good things were going to happen, and we had some good things happen this week. Tons of green across the board. However, we have slipped a good amount this morning. I think 420 million in liquidations over the last hour. But before we get into that, how are you? How's lovely Texas treating you this week?
Yeah, Matt, doing well. Texas is great, nice and sunny here. And we had some interesting news this week. Excited to talk about it.
Let's jump right into it. Bitcoin, new all-time high. Rachel, we've been doing this this is episode 57. We've been doing this for over a year, and I think we've had almost 10 episodes where we've got to announce an all-time high, which is always super fun and puts a huge smile on my face. Bitcoin is currently up 1.5% on the week, sitting at around 118.4K per BTC, after hitting an all-time high earlier this morning of 124,457 per BTC. Crazy wild stuff. Speaking of wild stuff, Ethereum just cannot slow down. ETH is up 20% on the week, folks, to 4.6K and hit 4.8K earlier in the week. XRP is up 1% to $3.11. BNB is up 8% to 844 per BNB. Sol is up 13% to 195. Briefly touched 200 earlier in the week. And Doge and Tron are also up 5% on the week. Pretty much green across the board. We absolutely love to see it. Speaking of green, we got to start with the big bad boy himself, who's not green but orange, and Bitcoin, new all-time high of 124K.
Yeah, Matt, this is super exciting. So, the world's largest cryptocurrency by market value rose 3.6% to $124,457 during early Asian trading, crossing the previous peak set in July. Bitcoin surged to a fresh record on Thursday, lifted by mounting expectations that the U.S. Federal Reserve will soon ease monetary policy and bolster by momentum from recent financial reforms.
Yeah, well said there. We love to see it. Another ATH. Payment giant Stripe has entered the L1 blockchain building, folks. They are developing their own blockchain called Tempo, which is a high-performance L1 focused on payments, of course, in partnership with crypto venture capital firm Paradigm. This is pretty wild stuff here. This is them building on their $1.1 billion acquisition of stablecoin infrastructure firm Bridge, and they also purchased crypto wallet developer Privy. That news broke earlier this week. The following day, Paradigm's Matt Huang will also head the blockchain project as CEO. A lot of people thought this was happening, and it did. Again, pretty wild stuff here, and it's not the only L1 news of the week, and we will get to that later. But Rachel, this is something that you and I covered way back in the day, about a year ago. Terraform co-founder Kwon has finally got the hammer put down on him and pleaded guilty in the $40 billion UST fiasco.
Yeah, Matt, crazy news. So Kwon faces 9 U.S. charges, including fraud and money laundering, and must prepare a detailed statement for each count ahead of his guilty plea. Terraform Labs co-founder Kwon is expected to plead guilty in a U.S. fraud case tied to the 2022 collapse of Terra USD, which is UST, stablecoin which wiped out $40 billion in value and sent shockwaves throughout the cryptocurrency industry. U.S. District Judge Paul Englamer has scheduled a change of plea hearing for Tuesday, 10:30 a.m. in Manhattan Federal Court. In an order on Monday, the judge directed Kwon to be ready to explain in detail how he broke the law if he admits guilt. The 33-year-old South Korean entrepreneur had pleaded not guilty in January after a prolonged extradition dispute over whether he would first be prosecuted in the U.S. or South Korea.
Crazy stuff. Wow, 9 counts as well, and well deserved. You cannot be that much of a scammer and not get the hammer thrown down on you. Speaking of some regulatory stuff, Hines, the executive director to President Donald Trump's White House Crypto Council, has announced his departure. Very surprising here, Rachel, to return to the private sector. He was appointed in December of 2024 and confirmed his move last Saturday, expressing gratitude to the crypto community and crediting his collaboration with AI and crypto czar David Sachs for helping position America as the crypto capital of the world. A successor has yet to be officially named. However, many people think that Deputy Director Patrick Witt is the leading candidate. We'll be monitoring the situation to see who fills Bo's shoes there. Speaking of Trump, regulatory, and all that kind of jazz, Trump-backed World Liberty Financial seeks a $1.5 billion launch for public World Liberty Financial Company. Wild stuff here.
Yeah, Matt. So World Liberty Financial aims to raise $1.5 billion to launch a NASDAQ-listed Treasury company with WLFI. The WLFI token has generated $550 million in sales since its launch alongside the USD1 stablecoin. Analysts warn the Treasury company model is highly exposed to crypto market volatility. This is true. This is something we should all be warned about, and we should know about it. And yeah.
Well said there. Moving forward, Treasury Secretary Bessent has called for a 50 basis point Fed Reserve cut in September following Tuesday's incredible, in bunny ears, inflation report, which will be a dramatic shift from the Fed's hawkish stance that maintained rates at 4.25 to 4.5% through 5 consecutive meetings. The July CPI rose 0.2% monthly and 2.7% annually, below the 2.8% estimate, which core CPI reached 3.1% yearly. As a result, the market odds for a September rate cut surged above 96%, where it was previously at 80. So this is pretty much priced in, and traders now believe that there will be 3 Fed cuts before year's end, which usually means open the floodgates, interest rates are low, and people will start to borrow money and put that into the market. Speaking of big moves in the market, Pantera Capital bets $300 million on crypto treasury firms as they see yields beating ETFs.
Yeah, this is interesting news. So Pantera Capital has committed $300 million to a growing niche of companies that hold significant digital asset treasuries, arguing that their performance could outpace crypto exchange-traded funds. In a note on Tuesday, Pantera general partner Cosmo Jing and content head Eric Lowe said digital asset treasuries can generate yield to grow net value asset per share, resulting in more underlying token ownership over time than just holding spot. They argued that owning shares in a digital asset treasury could deliver higher returns than holding tokens through an exchange-traded fund.
Yeah, well said there. And I also, I share that sentiment, and I'm in that camp too. Circle going parabolic. The Circle Internet Group shares surged 11% in pre-market on Tuesday, following the stablecoin issuer's first quarterly earnings report as a public company. Total revenue and reserve income of $658 million, up 53% from the previous year, while reporting a net loss of $482 million, primarily due to the $591 million in non-cash charges from its June IPO. USDC supply expanded further to 65.2 billion as of August 10th, 2025, representing an additional 6.4% growth since quarter end and cementing the stablecoin's 28% market share position. Shout out Circle, great job here. Rachel, speaking of Circle, earlier in the show, we announced some Stripe L1 news. Circle is diving into the space in the stablecoin L1 arena, and they have launched their own L1 also.
Yeah, it looks like this is the summer for L1s. So Circle Internet Group has unveiled ARC, an open layer 1 blockchain designed specifically for stablecoin finance, marking what the company calls a defining moment in its step towards developing a full stack internet financial platform. ARC represents Circle's most ambitious infrastructure initiative to date. Built as an enterprise-grade blockchain, ARC will support stablecoin payments, foreign exchange, and capital market applications.
Yeah, pretty wild stuff. The L1 space is heating up big time. I don't know about you, Rachel, but I think that L1s in the future will be very application based and very singular, like what these two big boys are doing. I don't think it's going to be sort of an overarching one and all, does a little bit of everything L1. I think it's going to be much more specific to meet the L1's needs. Last piece of news, and this is pretty fresh off the press. Monero, the $6 billion privacy coin, long touted as one of crypto's most censorship-resistant networks, has suffered a major setback. A single mining entity, the Layer 1 blockchain Cubic, claims it seized 51% of Monero's hash rate, a level of control that in theory could rewrite the chain, double spin transactions, or censor activity, all for an estimated cost of just $100,000 per day. The takeover coincided with a 6 blockchain reorganization that replaced 60 blocks, aka that literally reroutes the whole blockchain. And the Monero developers have disputed that a full 51% attack occurred, while some security experts and a lot of folks on crypto Twitter / crypto X say that this is absolute fugazi and the attempt appears to have succeeded. We will monitor the situation, but this is pretty wild, as Monero is one of the most battle-tested, if not the most battle-tested censorship and privacy-focused chain in all of crypto. Rachel, what a week. Another ATH. We love to see it. If things keep going the way they are, we could get another one, but always a pleasure doing this with you. Listeners, viewers, we appreciate you guys, and gals, we love doing this with you. If you enjoyed this one, and we hope you did, please do subscribe, hammer that like button, drop a couple comments, slide in our DMs, and to the team as well, appreciate you guys for helping out with this. We love you all. Enjoy your summer, and guys, we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Bye.
See you guys.